Greetings, Berkshire County. Thank you for joining us on iBerkshiresTV. Jeff Sununian here. Obviously, everything now is COVID-19 pandemic, and there's no industry that has been hit harder, perhaps, than the hospitality industry. Restaurants and hotels were forced to close for a long time. Hotel on North in Pittsfield, they do restaurants, they do hotel, they do casual drinks, they do just about everything in the hospitality industry. And I am very pleased to be joined by General Manager of Hotel on North, Dan Zimmer. Dan, thanks for joining us.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for having me.
Let's say that I'm Jeff Sununian living in Adams, which I am, and I'm sick and tired of looking at these four walls. I don't feel comfortable about getting on a plane, but I just want to get out of town. We can now do this in Massachusetts, I believe. Tell me something we should all know if I want to go stay at the Cape, if I'm at the Cape and I want to come to Berkshire County or anywhere.
Yeah, absolutely. So first and foremost, we opened the hotel to guests on the 12th of this month. We launched with a kind of a staycation resident appreciation package. So our rooms are available for Massachusetts residents starting at $99, which is a very affordable rate for Hotel on North. As you say, a lot of people have been staring at the same four walls for 90 days. A lot of people just want to bring their kids, their family, just see a different atmosphere and essentially have someone clean up after them instead of taking care of it all themselves.
I know that $99 is cheap for any hotel, never mind Hotel on North. What would be, give me something, the perfect guest walks into Hotel on North right now. Obviously, there are a lot of different precautions, masks, cleaning, everything like that. What are you providing guests, and what is the hospitality business in general providing, and what can guests do to help for their hotel stay?
Yeah, absolutely. We've had a wide range of odd guest requests or accommodations. We find ourselves being extremely fluid and flexible during these times. One of the nicest, I guess, reassuring things through this whole process is we didn't have to change very much. A lot of what we're already doing, our cleaning standards, our housekeeping practices, were already meeting or exceeding the CDC recommendations. So when this shift happened, we had to just change the chemicals that we were using, increase the mask usage and use of gloves, bagging linens in rooms instead of carrying it out in the hallways. And then we leave rooms vacant for at least 24 hours between occupancies. And those are just based on the best practices that we've been given generally by the American Hotel Lodging Association, who worked with major corporations and the CDC to update those guidelines.
And speaking of, you mentioned the American Hotel Lodging Associations. I know we have some agencies here locally who I would imagine if somebody, the general manager of a large operation like Hotel on North or anything else, might wake up and log on to, say, what agency locally to find out what's going on, any new regulations, the latest numbers, stuff like that.
Yeah, absolutely. So we use the One Berkshire's COVID business portal. I'm a board member and have a good working relationship with Jonathan Butler. So they were just extremely wonderful partners throughout this whole process. They had their Friday town hall meetings so we could see what other industries were doing. It's really easy to just walk in and have blinders on because it's, like you said, this is hospitality, this is the restaurant industry. We've been hit hard, but it's nice hearing from other people how they're handling, how they're coping, different cleaning standards that may be used in retail versus I've only really studied the lodging and restaurant rules and regulations. So there are some crossovers, and that gave a good platform for business leaders to kind of share a round table.
Is there anything, I know you guys out in the back parking lot, I believe, now have what I would, I guess, refer to, which I hope to be at soon, a beer garden. I would call it a beer garden. How would you refer to it? And it is something, has the city of Pittsfield, have you mentioned we might want to do this on a permanent basis, at least for the summer or anything like that. Have they mentioned being open to anything like that? Are you even interested in it?
As far as leaving the tent up longer?
Yeah.
Yes, we'll be running that until at least mid-August. We want to reevaluate and see. Everything's unpredictable at this point.
Yeah.
The most terrifying part is that the recovery is based on essentially like a vaccine or building up a tolerance, however we overcome this as society. But then it falls back on consumer behavior. So we need the business travelers to recover, the arts and cultures destinations to reopen and have their interest driven. There's a lot of outside factors depending on our success. So we'll do everything that we can in the meantime to remain a fun and unique option for North Street. But our first weekend, we were sold out for Friday, Saturday, and Thursday, Friday, Saturday in the back lot. We had a few walk-in available reservations for the hotel guests, but overall, couldn't be prouder of the team. We worked with Terry over at Biggins Diggins. He had an incredible smoked lobster roll. It was very well received. He kind of played on what we were known for. So we have the raw bar. He brought in some oysters, threw them in the smoker for 20 minutes. It was a wonderful combination, and they were just having a partner on week one made the process a lot easier for me. And then Corey and Sabrina down at City Hall were instrumental. I think they recognize my voice now just by calling, but I think every day I'd be like, all right, can I do this? Am I allowed to do this? Is this the paperwork I'm doing? Just checking all the boxes and making sure that everyone was understanding of exactly what we wanted to do, because this was an outside of the box solution since we weren't planning to reopen the kitchen.
I think
a later date.
Everything has been so liquid that large government entities are not known for their agility, let's say.
Right.
It's just the way it is. It's not really a fault of anyone's. It just takes a long time to get things through City Hall or Town Hall. Mm-hmm. But I think this has taught everybody a valuable lesson that things can be a little quicker. You can get things done in a new way that doesn't necessarily take as long. And I think the state has made that possible too. Governor Baker said, basically kind of said, deleted a couple steps with the alcohol, with the ABCC. If you want to have outside drinking of alcohol, he said, look, the towns can take care of it. Just notify us. We don't have to review the application anymore. So I think it's been a good example. I hope some of these things stick.
Yeah, absolutely.
How about the future? I figure, well, first of all, I want to talk about the tent a little bit, because these things pop up. You see them at weddings, you see them, some restaurants have them full time. And we don't need to get into specific price for you. These are incredibly expensive. I used to say to myself, what could this tent possibly cost? A couple guys show up, they put it up. But a tent of that size and the sizes that you start to see in these parking lots, it's not something you put up like you would do tailgating at a Patriots game. This is a serious operation that if something goes wrong can end up with serious consequences, and they're expensive. And again, I'm not asking how much it was. I have an idea in my head after starting around. So that's the other thing. You see a lot of money invested in a tent, and you have to have people under that tent to make it worthwhile.
No, exactly. And that's kind of why we're committed to, we'll call it an experiment, for at least 2 months. We've invested in the initial product. We're hoping to see the return on the investment is, I guess, the best way to say that. But in the world of unknowns, it was the one thing that we could gamble on. And because the outdoor option.
No Tanglewood this year. Museums are iffy. I know I was talking with Jonathan Butler the other day, and he's working on, he said one of the important things for us right now in Berkshire County is museums, of course.
Right.
What would you say are the biggest attractions with Hotel on North when people come in and they may fill out a card? Well, we came to the Berkshires for.
Yeah, actually, if I can find it real quick, we had the perfect review came in yesterday. If you'll give me just a moment.
Absolutely. And by the way, while Dan is looking, Hotel on North, if you don't know, is on North Street. And if you've never, I got into a little habit of on Sunday sort of afternoons, stopping by and enjoying a beer and a couple things from the Raw Bar. It's just an incredible place. It's design-wise, it is just spot on. It's a great location. Parking for me has never been a problem. Maybe you might have to walk a little bit, but it's a wonderful place to spend a lazy afternoon.
Thank you. It's going to take me too long to pull that up, but they essentially said we had a 6-night stay at Hotel on North. It was the perfect stopping ground to visit all of the state forests and the outdoor attractions in North and South County. So we're seeing a lot of that. People want to be outside. We are right in the middle of the Berkshires, so it is a good day trip destination. They specifically highlighted the electric car charging that we offer. They drove a Tesla, so they were able to, they liked that they could charge in between their day trips and not have to worry about recharging on the road.
How much do you talk to your colleagues, say, well, anywhere? Do you spend time on the phone with other managers around from hotels?
I would say probably about 6 to 8 hours a week.
Wow.
I've got great connections down at my past properties, West Virginia. I was at the Greenbrier.
Oh, wow.
North Carolina, I was at our Land Chateau property, the old Edwards Inn, and then my mentors over in Covington, Kentucky.
Wow.
So between those options, just getting a general feel of how their business is recovering, what they're running into as far as challenges with staffing, hurdles. It's something that you can't have enough conversation around because there's so much unknown. The only thing close to this before, in my experience, is like a natural disaster. If a hurricane comes through, you might lose power for 3 days. The generator will run 10 days to clear the roads and get the kitchens restocked, and then business is back to normal. Demand is right where it left off. This is definitely an unknown territory for everyone.
I know. Didn't the Greenbrier? Were you at the Greenbrier when they had a brutal storm there? They had to cancel the golf tournament, I believe, or they couldn't. But they had a brutal storm.
Yeah, the flood. It actually took out my house, but I had moved in May, and it flooded in June. So I missed it by about 3 to 4 weeks, luckily. But it was not a pretty time for that town.
That's incredible. But if there's any industry that can bounce back, it is the hospitality industry. Affected by most public disasters. I don't know really what to call them, but you can go all the way back to 9/11. The hospitality industry takes it hard most of the time, but they're incredibly resilient. And speaking of resilience, what is the future right now? I know you're probably not planning too far ahead. Have you had any sort of pie in the sky conversation saying best case scenario is I can't wait until when we can do what?
Yeah, so we're kind of taking everything 45 days at a time. We've kind of blocked everything off in that mindset. It's really difficult to forecast and project much past that. The big what if is if there's a rollback to phase 1 or phase 2.
Yeah.
If there is a second spike in October, what does that look like? But big picture goal is essentially just surviving until May. May of 2021 is where, in my opinion, the outlook is positive. Until then, it's definitely going to be an uphill battle for not only us, but I think every major industry, especially downtown in North Street here. The lack of tourism business is going to affect everyone. That on top of the COVID impact of locals wanting to stay home or changing their buying behaviors.
It's definitely, especially for a region that depends on tourism as much as we do. It'll be hopefully a little better than holding on for dear life.
Yes.
But I think we'll find some way to prosper, as Berkshire County always does. Hopefully, maybe I'll see you running around if you're around next Saturday, because I can almost promise you I will be there. I need to see the space.
Absolutely.
It's told to me that I would love it. Dan, I can't thank you enough for joining us. And if you're interested, Hotel on North is right on North Street. What's the best way to get in touch with you?
Yeah, if you want to give us a call directly, we've got the phone staffed 24 hours a day. The final footnote here, our staff has been talk about resilient during all of this. I had my bar manager went to overnight security for us. He then took on night audit responsibilities, filled in at the front desk. Our maintenance became housekeeping. I became front desk accounting. Like everyone in every capacity pitched in and did absolutely everything under the sun to make sure that we're able to get through this and that our guests don't see any falter in our processes, even though we're at a much reduced capacity for employees.
If you just can't take it anymore, if you're tired of the same food and you're tired of looking at the same walls, give Hotel on North a call, or just go there for an afternoon. It's a great place, and Dan, I cannot thank you enough for joining us.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me, and hope all's well. See you Saturday.
And thank you for joining us on iBerkshiresTV, and come back soon.
Thank you.